Hello, and thank you for joining me today. It's another beautiful day here in my living room. Today we're going to work on the 6 movements of the spine in a kneeling position. So this one I highly recommend if sitting is not at all comfortable. Sometimes whenever I carried, especially further into my third trimester, I carried my babies really low. So sitting in a seated position and doing twisting wasn't so comfortable for me. So you'll need a blanket or a towel. I just use a nice beach towel and a couple of blocks. And we'll get started with our 6 movements of the spine in a kneeling position. So we'll need our blanket today, and we'll take this blanket or towel and we're going to knead it so that we have enough space to do a kneeling position. So I'm going to take it and open mine up a little bit, and we'll take that blanket and we're going to kneel on it, and then we'll take our block and we're going to sit on it. So you want to make sure that your block is sitting comfortably on your blanket and that you feel like you're sitting up tall. And so take a second. So my block is just underneath of my sits bones. My feet are kind of holding it there a little bit. Not on purpose, just kind of instinctively they sit there. And then we want our knees about hip width apart. And once you find that good position, just join me in some breath work. So hands can rest at the tops of your thighs. If you're feeling more comfortable, would like to bring your hands to our bellies, I highly recommend it. It just really lets us get more in touch with how our breath works and in touch with our baby. So just closing your eyes. And maybe for the first time today, really noticing your breath. And so just following the breath in and out. Those smooth inhales and exhales. And not trying to change anything about the breath, just being aware. Just following it as the belly rises and falls. I always think about these movements and how they're hugging our baby, soothing our baby. That these same movements of us breathing and moving are the same movements that we will mimic when we're trying to soothe our baby once they're born. So letting go of your day, letting go of your responsibilities, and just being this mama on this mat with this breath, this baby. And taking a moment before we begin our movements to be grateful. So thank yourself. So sometimes just getting to this point in our day, maybe if you have a busy schedule, other children, it's hard to take this time out of your day. So take a moment, be grateful you did it. And the rest of the work is easy. The yoga is easy. It's sometimes just taking that time out. So thank yourself. And we'll slowly start to open our eyes, a soft gaze. And we'll find, oh yeah, I was looking for my other block, I'm sitting on it. So we'll find from here, both hands will start to find that left thigh. And so you can even bring it down towards the left knee, but kind of mid-thigh is a good place to start. And we'll just start to find that we're going to show our heart show our chest over towards the left side. And eventually, you'll start to look over your left shoulder. And maybe you'd like to take that left hand with you. Maybe it goes over to the back of your buttocks to low back area. It just kind of helps us to stay a little bit more open. It can stay right here if that's more comfortable for you. I like this. It gives me a little bit of support. So then maybe even bring your eye gaze a little bit over towards that left side too. And we'll slowly start to inch our way forward. Head and neck is going to be the last to come forward. And once you're all the way forward, we'll start over towards that right side. So again, both hands over towards that right thigh. And eventually, maybe starting to look over that right shoulder. And eventually, maybe you bring that hand over towards the buttocks. Maybe you or your fanny. And then you start to look over a little bit more over towards that right shoulder. And maybe you'd like to take the gaze over towards that right side a little bit more too. And then we'll start to come forward. Head and neck comes around last, nice and slow. Take your time, no rush. We'll extend. So I'm not going to use my block for this one, but you can. I feel like I have a lot of range of motion here, so I'm not going to use the block, but feel free to. You're going to want to start it over here on the right side if you'd like, and you can always bring it into your hands. This inhale, we bring the arms up. We'll exhale, reach over towards that right side. So right fingertips come down, tented fingers here are perfect. And then we'll use our belly muscles. We'll inhale, we'll lift up. Lift those right fingertips up. Exhale, left side. Nice and long. So belly strong, left hand strong. Inhale up. Exhale, right side. So we'll do each side like this one more time. And this inhale, we bring it up. Belly strong, kind of drawing in. Exhale, left side. And we make our way up one more time. This time, we're going to exhale right side, but we're going to stay here for a moment. So really find that length along the side of the body, from the bottom set of ribs to the hips. That's where we're going to focus. If it gets too much to lift the arm up, you can always bring that arm down at any time. And this hand here is flat for me, but tented fingers is okay. Fists if your wrists are troubling you today. And we just find this length. So we want to stay as stacked as possible. So we want to maintain from here to here. It's really the same position. We're just leaning over. And we're going to get our belly strong. Use this right hand for support and lengthen right fingertips up. Exhale, left side when you're ready. And take your time. And once you're here, same thing. So we focus on that space from the bottom set of ribs to the hips. You can lengthen this arm up as much as you'd like. You can just extend it straight overhead, or you can extend it over. And we just want to feel stacked. So we want those shoulders as stacked as best we can. We don't want to shift forward to get more length. That's what we want. Length along the left side of the body, or the right side. This is your right side. And we find that length here. We'll draw the belly muscles in. Use this left hand for support. Make your way all the way up. We can do a little bit of cat-cow work here, and I'll do it with you because we might have enough space. So we'll just start with it real subtle. So we're not going to have the range of motion here because of the way our thighs are positioned, but we can still do it a little bit here. And I'd like to show it to you just so that you know you can do cat-cows anywhere. And you might get more of it in your head, neck, and shoulders, which might be excellent because maybe you have a lot of tension there, maybe at work if you're sitting at your desk a lot. So hands at the tops of your thighs. We slowly start to open our heart open towards the ceiling. We exhale, we draw the chin in towards the chest, we round into the spine. And this inhale brings us up, so we slowly start to open the chest open. And on the exhale, we start to tuck in the chin. Chest comes down towards the hips. So you can still keep some length here. If you're feeling like this is too scrunched, just kind of keep it more open. So you can just kind of focus it more on the upper part of the body, where you don't even have to round. You can just focus here. Because that is awesome for those neck and shoulders. It still gets a lot of motion and mobility here. especially in the upper part of the spine where we hold lots of tension. Especially if you're having trouble sleeping at night and getting comfortable. And we'll finish this one that we're working on. And we'll make our way back up to our regular seated position. We'll let those shoulders relax down. Let's move to hands and knees to do those cat-cows in a hands and knees position. You won't need your blocks for this one, so I'll shift that block over. And then we'll take our blanket. I'm just going to turn it so it's just a little bit more out to the side so that I have more space underneath of my knees. We'll go to our hands and knees, our table. So we find the knees about hip width apart. We find our wrists underneath of our shoulders, our knees right out of the hips. And then we'll start to find those same movements. So we start first by leading the chest forward, drawing the chest away from the hips. And then the exhale, we'll start to tuck the chin in towards the chest. We'll start to draw the chest in towards the hips. And this inhale, chest shifts forward, heart opens up. And the exhale, chest towards the hips, really round, tuck the chin. If you'd like, it's just an option. And just continue your pace, your breath. So we inhale, we open into the chest, and on the exhale, we round. So we draw the chin in towards the chest. Hips and chest start to try to talk to each other. On the inhale, we make our way forward. Let's finish this one that we're working on. Finishing on that exhale. And we'll make our way back to our hands and knees. And then we'll make our way down to a child's pose. So hips slowly start to sink down towards the heels. Knees can widen as much as you'd like. So I like to bring my knees much wider in this position. And then start to fold down. So we bring our forehead to our mat. So maybe you're saying, Mandy, I'm not really feeling comfortable here. I can't quite get my hips down onto my heels, and that's okay. So if you are there and you're needing to feel like you need to get those hips lower down, go ahead. If you tried to widen the knees, go ahead, bring them back to that hip width apart, and then go down to where you were, so where you feel like you can stop, and then bring your forehead down. So if you're in this position, kind of draw the navel in towards the spine. So you're kind of hugging baby at the same time. So draw baby in. And that's just going to ensure that you're not going to dip that low back. So we want to keep a nice straight spine here. In either of these variations that you're working on, just try to find some stillness and find your breath. So just let yourself be heavy. We'll slowly start to inch our way up, so right back to our table, and then we'll just sit down into a seat. So it doesn't matter which seated position. If you want to go back to that kneeling position, that's okay. And I'm just going to sit in a cross-legged position. And then we'll find just sitting up tall and just checking in. So just kind of noting how you feel and taking a moment just to be grateful. Grateful for our bodies and the work that they're doing in creating this beautiful baby. And thanking yourself for taking this time out of your day to do something that nourishes your body, your mind, your spirit. Let's bring our hands to our bellies. Send our babies love and acceptance. We will accept you just as you are whenever you're ready. So thank you very much for joining me. I always enjoy it. Thank you.